10864. Stations your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
The following is a presentation of Learfield. Welcome to Duck Insider.
Our whole athletic department, there's a level of expectations of success.
Throw, catch, touchdown, Oregon.
He can run and slam.
This is back out for a three. Left wing is good.
In the air to center, back at the wall. It's out of here.
Really excited that we get to rep our Ducks and hopefully come back to Eugene with some championships.
Indoor track and field national champion. And for the fourth time in the last 6 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
We have so many teams that are excelling right now, and it's really fun to be a part of.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
It's Jordan Brenner today, in for Joey Mack. Joey Mack has a job today, along with Oregon men's basketball, and that job is to go ahead and break that curse in Colorado. The Ducks in Boulder, 7 p.m., the start time for that big Pac-12 contest for Oregon men's basketball. It's Duck Insider. It's presented by On Point Community Credit Union. We're in the Country Financial Studios. Let's go into that matchup between Oregon and Colorado. Look, there's no way around it. This is a huge game for Oregon men's basketball. This is a game that is going to be emotional. The Ducks have dropped all 10 matchups all time when they travel to Colorado Boulder. We're going to see who's in and who's out today. That's going to be a big factor in this contest. Look, Colorado is not playing their best basketball right now. They've dropped 5 of 6 games. Last game in particular, they were kind of hosed in Pullman. They lost 70-43. A big reason why they were without 2 starters, Tristan Da Silva, Elijah Parquet. We're going to have to see if those guys can go tonight. That'll be a huge factor in that contest in the mountains. But one thing that went well for Oregon last time, well, the Ducks were able to force a ton of turnovers. They turned Colorado over 17 times. Anyway, a couple things that I thought I'd mention here off the top, because that's what we're focused on today. We're focused on headed into the mountains and getting a win against the Buffaloes. Also today on the show, we're going to be talking with the head coach of Oregon softball, Melyssa Lombardi. We are officially within a week of the start of the Oregon softball season, as the Ducks will travel down to Los Angeles and face Ole Miss. So we'll hear 2 parts of that Coach Lombardi interview. Also, Coach Dan Lanning was in the studio yesterday for the National Signing Day special. We're going to get to that later in the hour, and depending on how we do on time, we're going to try and get to another assistant coach interview. All of them were fantastic, and we're going to try and get to another one here at the end of the show today. All right, well, without further ado, let's get to our first one today. Coach Chris Crutchfield was in the studio with Joey Mack on Tuesday, and he talked about that matchup with Colorado, and here it is.
First time this season that we've gotten the chance to catch up with Chris Crutchfield. Coach, hey, first of all, thanks for coming over, man. You know, he and I were just having this conversation before we got rolling. You have been with Oregon now, but only long enough that your office has only ever been at Matthew Knight Arena, right? So that's kind of an odd deal. So coming over here, I was like, man, you've only been over here a handful of times, right? So welcome to the Casanova Center.
Thank you very much. I've probably been over here 5 times since I've been here.
Well, here's lucky number 6.
Yes,
I love it. Well, let's look back, Coach, before we look ahead.
Okay.
A win that you guys needed to get. You got it in a big way against Oregon State. What went right for your squad?
Well, I think, one, we got off to a great start, especially going into the second half. Going into the halftime, we was able to go on a run there in the last 5 minutes of the first half and had a little momentum, even with the 3-quarter shot from Eric Williams. And that gave you a big boost at halftime. So I think when you go into halftime with that kind of momentum, all you have to do is now come out the second half and just hold on. And the guys did that.
Eric Williams, I got to ask you about that shot. So you're sitting a few seats down from me. Mm-hmm. When he let that go, did you think it was going in like I did?
Really, I did, because it's funny because him and Rivaldo Soares, they do that every day.
Do they?
they play around with those shots every day. And he makes most of them,
Wow.
to be honest with you. But, that was a different shot, just the way he shot it. I mean, it was a quick little flick.
Yeah, sometimes that's all it takes, right? Is that you get that backspin and it goes. I mean, I've seen them do that a few times in practice, but I got to tell you, a momentum build like that, that's a huge thing for any team. And talking about momentum, Coach, with this squad this season, it seems like when you guys get off to a quick start, you're hitting shots early, you guys are really tough to beat. I mean, is it really that simple sometimes? Just get off to a good start, hit some shots?
Well, I always tell people, no matter what, especially basketball, it is a make or miss game. If you make shots, your defensive energy and activity is so much better.
Sure.
And when you don't make shots, it's not. So I think when we make shots early, it helps our defensive intensity. We play a lot harder. The game becomes a little easier and a little fun. So I think being able to make shots early, especially at home, has been a real big key for us. Even on the road when we went to California, we made shots early in those games.
What was that crowd like? How'd that feel on the bench?
You mean
at home?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
That was the best energy I've seen since I've been here.
Yeah, I can't ask you about the crowd when you guys were in LA because
wasn't no crowd.
Yeah, it wasn't. Which maybe that
it worked out the right way.
I was gonna say maybe it plays into your guys' favor, but at the end of the day, you just play the game with the hand that you're dealt. How about Dante and Frank, Coach? Frank Kepnong and Folly Dante. I thought they were kind of a difference for you guys this last week, and have been in a few games this season where when they play well, you guys are tough to beat.
I think what Frank and Dante have done is they have become rim protectors for us now. They're blocking more shots. Their activity around the basket has improved tremendously. And if they can continue to do that, that's the back line of our defense. I think if we can keep empowering them to take that personal to protect the basket, it helps our overall defense. And then what it does is discourages teams from trying to come to the basket on us.
Sure. And, I mean, we saw that, right? I mean, I think that there's been some setting the tone of that energy early. I mean, you talk about a quick start offensively, but the quick start defensively sometimes too, right?
No doubt. I think about Dante. Dante blocks 3 shots in the first 6 minutes of the game.
And probably should have had a fourth. That's just my opinion. I'll say it. Coach Crutch doesn't have to. But talking about defense as a whole, I mean, you feel like that's the next step for the consistency that you're looking for with this team is the defense?
I think so. I think we have some guys that can score points. We do know that. I think just being able to get our defense set, get back in transition, not give up any easy baskets in transition, get our defense set. And we have to continue to improve our matchup zone. We hadn't played a lot of it this year, but I think we continue to work on it. But our man-to-man defense has improved.
Sure.
Davion Harmon and Jacob Young have done a tremendous job of putting pressure on the ball and kind of taking people out of their sets. So we can continue to get Dante and Frank to block shots. I think our man-to-man is where it needs to be. But like any other teams, the season is so long, you have to be able to change defenses, so we're working on our zone also.
Talking about this Colorado game coming up, but it's a little bit odd that you're playing them in such close proximity, right? Because you play the makeup game and it doesn't go your way. Now you get them on the road. And just talking about transition defense, I mean, that was something I know that you guys wanted to improve on coming out of the Colorado loss. Felt like you did against Oregon State. Is that a huge key now this second time around against Colorado?
No doubt. I mean, it's a key against anybody, really. You just can't give up easy baskets in transition, and have an unbalanced floor defensively in transition and give up easy baskets and let people get their head up and get their momentum going. So I think Colorado, we have to get back. We have to take away easy basket. We can't let the ball get to the rim. We gave up a lot of points in the paint against Colorado last time we played them. So that's going to be a big key.
How much of that is Dante and Frank?
Oh, it's huge,
right?
Huge.
So I'm talking about two teams now that I feel like it's almost like a night and day thing. It felt like watching you guys against Colorado, the way that you improved against Oregon State. So what's the key to maintaining the momentum in some of those key categories this week? How's practice been? What do you like heading into Thursday's game?
I think yesterday we practiced really hard, went for a while, and really got up and down the floor and did some really good things. Worked on our zone, really improving our rebounding because we gave a bunch of offensive boards against Oregon State. So those are things that continue to try to improve throughout the season. But Colorado is a really sound, well-coached team, as you know. And they give you different challenges because they run their offense so sound, so crisp, and they know what they're looking for. And sometimes they pass up a shot early in the possession just to grind you out.
Right.
So that's what happened to us here. So I think we have to be able to sustain our defense for 25 seconds. And our ability to change up is going to be a big key.
We all know that Colorado's been a tough place to play, and it's not just for Oregon. It's been that way. You look at the Ken Palm analytics, it's one of the best home court advantages in the country. I mean, you haven't gone there yet, right, in your career?
No.
Does the altitude matter? Does all these things that I'm going to have to ask you today? I mean, what is it about that place?
I would like to say no, it don't matter.
Yeah.
But it does matter. It does matter, and it makes a difference. It makes a difference. But I think it's more mental than it is anything else. And you will get winded early. Your body will make the adjustment, and then you'll be able to get through it. But that first 10 minutes of that game, you can tell.
It's the two longest tenured head coaches in the league right now, too, with Tad Boyle and Dane Altman each in their 12th season. I mean, there's a reason that these two teams have kind of gone head-to-head a few times over the last few years. Talking about Davion Harmon for you, Coach. I mean, I know you have a special relationship with Davion. Just how has it been for both of you coming into Oregon and being able to kind of go through this season so far together? That has to be kind of cool.
It's been fun because, you know what, I've known Davion for a while, and I didn't get a chance to coach him the first 2 years at Oklahoma because I left. But it's funny because now I'm watching him grow and mature, as a young man and as a young basketball player. So, I'm not as hands-on with him as I thought I would have to been. And he's done an unbelievable job of just kind of figuring out his lane and how to fit into that lane. It took him a while, but he's figured it out through some conversations, and he's probably playing his best basketball right now.
How difficult is that in general for any young man coming into a new team? I mean, we talk about chemistry so much. I feel like it's maybe one of the most overused words in sports, but maybe one of the least understood words in sports for fans. Like, how do you go about doing that as a coaching staff, as a team, to get everybody to buy into the chemistry and have that chemistry?
I mean, it's a lot of individual conversations. It's a lot of team conversations. It's a lot of therapy, so to speak.
Sure.
Just to get those guys to understand what the roles are and the role that we as a staff want for them individually and as a team, and making each guy understand that we're not far off from what your goals are, and what your expectations are. So try to find that common ground as a staff and as a player and as a group, as a team. And that's what we had to get through November and December. And that's what the hardest part was. We gave some games away trying to figure that out.
You talk about, though, the resume of an entire season. I mean, I don't know how much you guys are talking to the individuals about that, how much the players are paying attention to it. Certainly it's something that fans look at, right, is, hey, these are big games. It's a must-win or it's not a must-win. I don't know. But all of that aside, does it kind of get you fired up that you're playing in these big, meaningful games? I mean, this is what it's all about, right?
No doubt about it. No doubt as a coach, as a competitor, you live for this situation. That's what you want. I mean, everybody in the country is now talking about it. There's 18 different bracketologies around the country. And
there's probably 118 by now.
And everybody's talking about, bubble teams, who's in, who's out, who has the best resume, and the kids know. So they're getting ramped up for this last stretch here in February because they want to make the NCAA tournament. Our staff knows, and I think it just heightened the awareness and the importance of trying to play well right now.
It's always a lot of things when I ask this question. So we've touched on a lot of keys ahead, but what are the keys for this team ahead? I mean, what do you guys really need to consistently get better at over the next few weeks?
I think, one, we have to become a better rebounding basketball team. We have to rebound the ball, consistently get better defensively, and continue to share the ball. I think we have a bunch of guys we know that can score, so we have to move it. We have to share it. We have to make the defense move. We have to put people in defensive rotations to maximize our talent. So that's the thing, I think. But most importantly, we have to become a more sound rebounding team.
Lastly, I wanted to ask you a little bit of big picture. You're a guy who's coached in some different leagues in your career and going through the Pac-12 for the first time. What is your assessment of the Pac-12? What was it from afar, and has anything maybe changed now that you're coaching in this league?
Well, I've always had respect for the Pac-12 because everywhere I've been, we played a Pac-12 team. When I was at Oklahoma, we played USC. We played Oregon, of course. I can't think if we played anybody while I was at Arkansas. But The other schools I've been at, we played, Utah and some USCs, but I've always had respect for the Pac-12. I think it's a great coach league. There's talent, so much talent. You think over the years, the talent that's been at Oregon and USC and UCLA, even Washington.
A lot of NBA players.
Pros. Yeah. So the respect has always been there. Now that I'm in it, now you realize the leagues are different. I mean, the Big 12 is different than the SEC. The SEC is different than the Pac-12. It's hard to say who's better because I think if you look at the graphics of the pros that have come out of those leagues, it's probably close.
It's pretty close, yeah.
Yeah.
Over the last few years, especially. It's always interesting to me just to think about kind of that bigger picture. Well, I'll leave you with that. I could talk to you for an hour.
Yeah.
So, hey, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. Chris Crutchfield.
Thank you.
Good luck on the mountain trip.
Thank you very much. It's always going to be a tough one, but we're looking forward to it.
We're looking forward to it as well. Coach Crutchfield mentioned early on in that interview just how important those rim protectors are for Oregon. Volley Dante, Frank Kepnang as well. When Colorado came to Eugene on January 25th and took down the Ducks 82-78, Oregon blocked 0 shots in that game against the Buffaloes. Oregon has won 7 of 8, still reason to be optimistic. But in that one loss to Colorado, 0 shots. In the 7 wins, the Ducks blocked nearly 4.5 shots per game. Absolutely a key tonight, as well as being aggressive defensively. Watch out for Jacob Young. He had 6 steals against the Buffaloes on January 25th in Eugene. One thing I also forgot to mention at the top is that Colorado is going to be without their head coach tonight. That's Tad Boyle, sidelined with COVID-19. That was announced on Tuesday, and stepping in to help him out today is going to be his assistant coach, Mike Rohn, who has a little bit of head coaching experience. It was a long time ago, but he did go 55-38 in his time at Dodge City Community College, and that was in 1996 to 2000. Coach Rohn against Coach Altman. That matchup coming up at 7 p.m., 6:30. You get your pregame started with Joey Mack on the Oregon Sports Network. And if you're looking for an appetizer like me at 5 p.m., big matchup in the Pac-12 tonight between Arizona and UCLA, the rematch in Tucson. We're coming back to more Duck Insider after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, you can't stop a new 2022 Toyota. No matter the weather, the Camry all-wheel drive comes out to play. Snowy hills don't stand a chance against the RAV4, and everyone's comfy in the Highlander. See you in the snow. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Dear winter, you can't stop a new 2022 Toyota. No matter the weather, the Camry all-wheel drive comes out to play. Snowy hills don't stand a chance against the RAV4, and everyone's comfy in the Highlander. See you in the snow. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, son. How are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, the loss of who you thought you was.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Back here on Duck Insider, it's presented by On Point Community Credit Union. We're in the Country Financial Studios. Jordan Brenner in for Joey Mack today. We just heard from Coach Chris Crutchfield before the break because, well, it's a big hoops day here on the Oregon Sports Network. The Ducks and Buffaloes getting going at 7 p.m. tonight, 6:30. You can start your pregame coverage with Joey Mack. All right, next up on the docket today, we're going to get to Coach Melyssa Lombardi, who was very nice to stop by the studio earlier this week and talk to us about 8 of the newcomers, the new Ducks, that are going to be on full display at Jane Sanders Stadium this spring. Oregon softball, lots of momentum. We are counting down the hours till next week. 7 days from the start of Oregon softball season down in Los Angeles against Ole Miss. By the way, that start time was changed to 5:30, back 30 minutes, so we're going to have to wait an extra half an hour next Thursday for Oregon softball to be in action. But the Ducks, they're getting ready, and we're getting ready. Here's Coach Melyssa Lombardi, who stopped by the Country Financial Studios on Tuesday. It's time for our weekly chat with the head coach of the wonderful Oregon softball program, Coach Lombardi, joining us here on Duck Insider. Round of applause from everybody. Thank you for joining us, Coach. You know, I was looking at the polls today. Coach's poll came out. We're recording Tuesday. This is airing on Thursday. 18th in the coach's poll. And then it clicked for me. We are just about a week away from the start of the season, and I felt excited. I can't even imagine how excited you are and how excited the group is, because softball is really rounding third base, and we're coming to the home stretch here.
We are. January at times can be a little bit of a long month because we return early in the month for school. But I feel like this January we've gone by pretty quick. Our athletes are really excited. On our social media, we've been doing posts just saying how many days, going along with their jersey, and we're getting there.
Yeah,
we're getting there.
That's been a fun graphic to follow.
Yeah.
One thing we haven't been able to talk to you about, this is news that came down last week, the week before, I can't remember exactly, but the creation of a Pac-12 softball tournament. It's going to rotate through all the Pac-12 softball facilities. The winner's going to get an automatic bid to the tournament. I'd just like to get your thoughts on the creation of that tournament.
I love it. I think our tournament in that weekend, it gives others an opportunity to see the grind and the competitiveness and just what happens through our entire season. I think the opportunity to get our fans all together and to compete in a tournament, I think just our season already and what it does for us for postseason and to be able to play against the best, but then also to have a tournament now, which is going to basically open up postseason for us. So I'm all for it.
What I'm excited about, I feel like at times, last year's a great example of this. Maybe the Pac-12 is a little bit disrespected because of a lack of a tournament. But, I'm of the opinion that the Pac-12 is maybe the best conference in the entire country. And I just think it's a great opportunity to showcase on a national scale what these programs are and do it in an intense and exciting few-day format over a weekend.
I couldn't agree more. I think in just our regular season, every weekend is a super regional that's taking place in, the PAC conference. So now to be able to take that one, to another step and create a tournament, I think it's going to be great.
That's coming down in 2023. I wish it was coming down this year, but we're looking forward to that. Okay, let's focus in on some of the work that was done in the off season, because one of the most fun parts of the beginning of the season, in my opinion, is just seeing the growth of certain players in certain areas. Maybe you're adding a pitch, maybe you're adding power. Like Ali Bunker's a great example of that last year, right? Had never hit more than 2 home runs in a season. 2021 comes along, Ali Bunker hits 10 home runs. All of a sudden, she's a power hitter. Tell me about the work that went in the off season, just as a group.
Yeah.
And what went into it, and I'd just like to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, I think one thing that they would all agree upon is we got a new strength coach this year, Coach KJ, and she played softball. So to be a strength coach and also have that background it's been great for us. They understand that if you go to the weight room, you get stronger. Like, they understand that. But just with her background and also working with Coach Martyr, they're really starting to understand that the power numbers that we need, whether it's at the plate or on the mound, it's going to go through the weight room.
Yeah.
And you could certainly see that. Our athletes have gotten so much stronger. You can see our ball flying further, faster, and they recognize that as well. So I think that was one of the biggest things, just incorporating Coach KJ and what that has done for us offensively at the plate and the power. I think you're going to see overall with our team a lot more power this year just because of what they've been doing in the weight room.
So a power surge coming to Eugene in the spring, but I think at the same time, you got to stay true to what the Ducks have been over the last few years. And I think, I'm predicting, not that I know anything, but I'm predicting still an emphasis on defense, still an emphasis on the run game. Because now as we enter version 4 of Oregon softball under Melyssa Lombardi, I think the Ducks have gotten that reputation of excelling in those particular categories.
Definitely. And then just to add to that, I mean, what Coach has done in the weight room with them, what she's also done on the conditioning side of it, and understanding them, having a better understanding of how to the mechanics of running. So days where there's speed days, but then also days where there's conditioning days, and that there's a difference. I think you're going to see us run even more. So I think you're going to see our speed on the bases. You're going to see us run a little bit more. Defensively, we are solid. Defensively, I think that's just been something that's been there since day one for us. Very versatile. We have athletes that can play everywhere. And with Coach Reagan being a former All-American shortstop here at Oregon, and just what she's brought to the table on the defensive side, it's been great. Our athletes, they probably have like smoke coming out of their ears a little bit, because just all the learning that has taken place from the fall even to now, and just the incredible teachers that Coach Martyr, Coach Reagan, Coach KJ, just what the three of them have brought to the table to add to what already is here. It's pretty exciting.
A lot of depth for Oregon softball. You're going to hear about that depth after this next break. By the way, Oregon softball picked 3rd in the preseason Pac-12 poll that was released today. I have a feeling that it could be even better than number 3. All right, we're coming back with more with Coach Lombardi after this break on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Money isn't interested in the fact that you dream of going to Greece, and it doesn't pace at night wondering how you'll pay for braces 3 times. The point is, money without people is just money. Only people can use it to run the family ranch, buy their first house, or adopt a happy old dog. To us, the powerful thing about money isn't money at all. It's helping you harness the power of yours. On Point. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
What is dedication?
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
All right, we're back in the Country Financial Studios. It's Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. I'm Jordan Brenner in for Joey Mack, who is on a mission in Colorado for that game tonight between the Ducks and the Buffaloes. Oregon 0-10 all time at Colorado. Perhaps that changes tonight. I, for one, have a good feeling, even though that's worth absolutely nothing. All right, here comes part 2 with Melyssa Lombardi. You're going to hear about the 8 newcomers in the Ducks program. Reasons to be excited for spring softball at the Gene. Get your tickets, folks. Season tickets are quickly running out. It sounds like Oregon is going to be exciting, as always, come this spring. I wanted to focus in on the rotation, which I think was a big strength of the Ducks in 2021. It looks a little bit different here in 2022, but that is a deep bullpen. And I wanted to ask you about this. You know, Brooke carried a big load last year, but there were times where Reagan or McKenna, they were called upon to come into some tight spots, and they really excelled and got Oregon a lot of big wins in some big games. I'm wondering what the growth looked like in the offseason for Reagan and McKenna, because if we're looking at natural stuff, you'd be hard-pressed to find better stuff around the country, in my opinion.
You know, last year you watched Brooke come into her own. You could just see her on the mound and just see that she's got really good stuff. And then just as the year went on, she got better and better and more comfortable, settled in, and just from there knew exactly who she was on the mound, how to go about it, how to compete at the highest level, game in and game out. I think you're going to see McKenna. I think you're going to see Reagan do the same thing this year. I think you're going to really see them come into their own. They had some big opportunities for us last year where they came in, and I mean, to watch McKenna, one, throw the ball with great velocity, but then also have the ability to spin the ball, to have true spin on her ball, and to spin the ball up, to spin the ball down, you know, really to hit the different quadrants and change of speed. I think you're just going to see her come into her own this year. I think with Reagan, 70 is just a gift.
It comes
you
easy
know,
to her.
it's just
Right.
a gift that was given to her, and for her to have that speed and to be able to come in and close out ball games, it's tough on the opponent.
Yeah.
You know, you're used to getting maybe a pitcher that's spinning the ball, and then all of a sudden a pitcher comes in and you've got 6 outs left and she's throwing 70, and then it's all of a sudden, now I've got 5 outs, now I've got 4 outs. Almost like there's a countdown that can occur.
Right.
She does a great job of giving quick outs. Her ball is heavy. She allows her defense to work behind her.
We're talking about a player, I think, who just has that clutch gene that when the moment's bigger, gets better. Both McKenna and Reagan.
Yeah.
But I also, this is what I wanted to talk to you about next. The newcomers in this program, particularly, we can start in the circle with Allison and Stevie coming to the program. These are 2 really highly touted recruits who I think are going to immediately step in and be an asset for that bullpen.
For sure. Stevie has a ton of spin on her ball. She tunnels her pitches really well. It's hard to just with all the spin. It's hard to really be solid with your contact. And then with Allison, she throws the ball hard, just like Reagan. Has a devastating changeup and keeps the ball down. So again, she's one that allows her defense to work, you know, behind her. But I think this is the most depth we've had since I've been here. And that's what I'm looking forward to, is that we're not having to be so dependent on a couple. You know, we can be dependent on everybody.
How about on the infield? You know, you talk about depth. Infield is maybe the deepest position group. And, yeah, I know this is also a really versatile team where, you know, players can play 4 or 5 different positions. But on the infield with the addition of Paige and KK, those are 2 players I also think that fans are going to be really excited to watch for the first time in 2022.
Definitely. When I think of Paige Sinicki, she's just a competitor. She's a competitor. She's a hustler. Every single day she brings her best to the table. She wants to win, and she's works hard, and she just loves the game of softball. And you can just see it by the way she plays. So she's infectious, and I like that. I mean, she's a freshman, but she is already in a leadership role for us because of how she comes to the park every day. KK, I think everybody's going to be pretty excited to see her. She's explosive at the plate. She's got a lot of power.
And comes with a pretty good resume on that as well.
Yeah, she's got a year under her belt. She came from Fullerton, so she has the experience. She has worked a ton with Coach Reagan, and just to see, she came in as an excellent athlete. But, you know, when you have coaches that have opportunities to make impact on your athletes and to see the impact that Coach Reagan has had on KK, I think she's going to be one that our fans are going to be excited to watch.
Okay. I think these players are going to be fan favorites. We talked about speed earlier. The Lushar sisters who come in to this program this year in the outfield. What can you tell me about them?
They're great. It's Kai is older than Kedri, and their personalities are so different. Like, they're not even close. Kai is just like almost wants to explode. Like, she just has so much energy to share with people, where Kedri's a little more laid back. But when it comes to what they do, they fly around the bases, both of them. And what I like is that they have the ability to drop the bunt, but then both have the power to drive the ball, you know, through the infield. And so you can't play them one way. Definitely you'll see both of them as triple threats on the left side.
And, of course, we had to end with the catching position because Coach Lombardi, I mean, the fans know back in the day, you weren't going to find a better catcher in the Big 12. That's my opinion. But Carissa and Abby come into the program and add depth to the catching position this year as well.
For sure. One thing I've learned, just, you know, early on in softball, you could get away with a pitcher or two and get away with one catcher. You can't, especially in our conference. You have to, as a catcher, if you start to get tired, the first thing that goes is your legs. And then you feel that receiving, but then you also feel that at the plate. You start to lose a little bit of your power. I loved how Tara and Val worked really well last year together, and now with the addition of Carissa and Abby, we also have another. I think it just goes a long way. It allows them to stay fresh, and that's what we want. We want, if it's Tara behind the plate, that she's able to stay fresh behind the plate and also have the legs to continue to drive the ball, and the same with Val and the others. So, you know, what's pretty cool is that there's a lot of competition every day at practice. But this group understands that if we only have a couple athletes that are good, it's going to only go so far.
Right.
So we need everybody, whether they're in the starting lineup or they're coming off the bench. We need everybody on this team to be great and to play at a really high ability, you know, have high standard, to play at a high level. And I think they've done a great job of embracing that and knowing how important it is, but then also too that competitive battle that's taking place every day at practice is what is allowing everybody to do the things that they're capable of doing, because they're getting that constant push from each other.
You heard it from Coach Lombardi. Depth is going to be a major strength for the Ducks in 2022, and this is running on Thursday. We're a week away from the season opener down in Los Angeles against Ole Miss. And, Coach, we can't wait for that. And best of luck. Thanks for stopping by as always.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Always appreciate Coach Lombardi stopping by the Country Financial Studios. Every Thursday, we are 1 week away from the season opener against Ole Miss. That game was moved back 30 minutes to 5:30. And I was told I had to get this in. Hands were tied behind my back, handcuffed, but just kidding. Yeah, Ryan Milano and Knight Uretsky going to be going down to Los Angeles to call the season opener and that entire weekend down in Southern California. That's going to be fun. Tune into 88.1 and support student radio, folks. We're coming back with more Duck Insider after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
These are the sounds of a dinner. A dinner that almost didn't happen. A dinner now served, thanks to people like you. Due to COVID-19, 17 million more Americans may face hunger. Feeding America is helping our neighbors in need. And if you're able, you can too. Donations are being accepted at feedingamerica.org/coronavirus. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
It's time for today's STEM tip. Okay, you know recycling is important. No one wants plastic in the ocean. Here's a cool way to repurpose a plastic bottle. Build an awesome terrarium. Cut a large plastic bottle in half and fill the base with sand, pebbles, potting soil, and your favorite plant. I chose an African violet. Put the top of the bottle over your base and place it in the sun. Your plant will grow sealed in its own ecosystem. Fun, right? Learn more at She Can STEM. A message from the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider. Jordan Brenner in for Joey McMurray today, who's in Colorado as the Ducks get ready to face off against the Colorado Buffaloes tonight at 7 p.m. 6:30 pregame is the start. You can start your coverage off that way. Well, we got one more great interview for you today. It's Dan Lanning, who came into the studio yesterday for the National Signing Day special. And Coach Lanning, you could tell he was a little bit exhausted, but he still brought his A game. What a fantastic interview, and let's play it for you right here on Duck Insider.
Joey, what's good?
Great to see you. We were just talking, Coach, with a number of your staff, and it's been awesome, I got to tell you. It's been absolutely awesome for fans to get to know them. There's about 1,000 people watching between all the platforms right now, which that's awesome for me to sit here and say that it's a chance for an introduction. What I want to start with you on is the fact that everybody who's been in here, all of your staff has said, you're just the same guy. You're consistent, and everybody's had nothing but positive things to say about you, which doesn't come as a surprise. But I'm going to ask you, what's the secret sauce? How do you stay consistent? How do you stay the same guy all the time? Because, Coach, you've had a lot going on over the last few weeks.
Yeah, it's been wild. I think people perform at their best when they don't, they try not to be something they're not. And, I think that's one thing that I watch the coaches that I've been under in the past is if they operated as who they were probably the most successful.
Makes sense. So I've asked everybody for their 2-minute life story. Now, fans have already heard a little bit of yours. Yeah. So can I ask for the 30-second life update for you? What have you been up to? Take fans inside the process of your last couple months since taking the job.
Yeah, I know you said, we've only probably talked, 30 seconds up into this. If you could play football, I promise you we would have talked more.
Sure. I can't. Trust me.
Yeah. So, it's been a lot of recruiting and a lot of time connecting with our players, spending a lot of time trying to spend time around our guys every chance we got back here in the building. So, basically throughout the week, we'd be out on the road, hotel to hotel, house to house, home to home. I think I was in 10 states in the last, 13, 14 days. So a lot of travel. And then when we were back for the weekend for official visits and unofficial visits, spent a lot of time around our guys and building those relationships. But really nonstop, wrapping up the signing day, the recruits for the 2022 class, but obviously really excited about the future as well, 2023, 2024, and beyond.
How much are you looking at that on a day like today? It's a celebration of the 22 class, but you're always looking ahead, aren't you?
Yeah, I think a lot of staff sit around and drink coffee and eat donuts today, and I think we're trying to get a leg up on everybody else. So on to the next one.
Talk about connecting your team. I've heard a lot about that from your staff today. Just what's that process been like? I know there were a lot of dinners last night. Everybody's been talking about that. It's been fun. And just you're connecting with your team. How's it been going?
Yeah, it's been great. I think people recognize genuine and real, and you can say that you're about connection, but you got to be willing to take the time to spend around each other. And it's not lip service for us. It's got to be more than that. It's got to be action. So we're trying to get to spend as much time around our guys as possible, and that's the only way, to be real and to get to know each other is to spend time with each other, quality time.
What do you look for in a recruit?
Talent first, right? But not only. They have to have great character. I think that's really important. The guys we bring into our locker room are the kind of guys we want, to build our team around. Here they need to be elite. They need to be dynamic. I know one of the things that we've added, in this group this year is speed. Mm-hmm. We've added a lot of guys that run sub-10 sevens in the 100 meters, dash, which is an impressive feat in itself, but that gives us team speed, defensive speed particularly, that we can coach.
We got more signees coming in, so I don't want to get anybody. I've been saying, Coach, we don't want to get any angry emails from NCAA compliance. So follow along with Oregon football over the course of the day. We'll see. Maybe there's some announcements coming your way. But as you sit here right now, Coach, it's a defensive-heavy class, and you talked about speed. What is your assessment of your class? You feel like you filled some needs that you needed to fill today?
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited about the guys we're able to bring on board, and the guys that are still coming on board. Defense, had some pieces that we felt like we could fill needs at, quickly, and we were really challenged ourselves to make sure we were bringing guys in that we think can make an impact. So I think we've done that.
Talking about it today being sort of a celebration. It's a celebration for you guys and the hard work paying off, but a celebration for the athletes as well that get a chance to enjoy this. Just what would you say to some of the young folks maybe that you're recruiting years down the road? How do they get to today to celebrate like they should today after a lot of hard work pays off?
They've earned it, right? But and they've certainly earned it, deserved it, and they need to be able to celebrate it. But it's a little bit also, so what? Now what? The stars aren't here anymore,
sure,
right? The phone calls, those are gone. Like, let's get to work. And I think every one of our guys that we brought in is excited about that.
You talked about kind of the young guys, but you've also brought in a few transfers since you've last spoken to everybody. Just tell us about what you got in a few of your transfers in Taimani, Gonzalez, and Nix coming in. Just I'll name those three for you.
Yeah, and again, for every guy that we brought in the program, we feel like in some way they can impact us, make an impact quick. We were looking for guys that are competitive, guys that we had personal association with and knew about, personally and in a way like either were involved in their recruitment initially, had gone against them, and had a really good feel for what kind of character kids they were. And for all those guys, we felt strong, about that they could help and enhance our program, which they've done a great job buying in and being part of this team.
Something that I've noticed on social media, Coach, is your connection with Oregon football alums. They've been very vocal on social media about how much they appreciate that connection. How much of that was a priority for you? And also, you talk about connecting all these different generations of Oregon football. It seems like you're doing that.
Yeah, we're certainly trying. I mean, if it's 6 months from now, if it's not still occurring, it's just lip service. So that's the key for us is we can say it now, but I think actions, speak a lot louder. So we'll see what it's like. It's been so much fun, kind of have the unfiltered view. We got to do a Zoom with the alumni on Monday with a lot of former players, and there was a bunch of guys on there. And for me, it was just fun sitting around talking ball, talking Oregon history, and I got connected at one point. I'm a big Chiefs fan, so I got connected with J.J. Burden on there, which I remember growing up watching J.J. Burden for the Chiefs. So stuff like that fires me up. I'm still a fan in a lot of ways.
Your staff is assembled, and the support staff is assembled. You feel like things are settling down for you now? And tell us about your staff a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just so thrilled. These guys have been working their tails off. We look for two things. We look for relationships and we look for development at every position that we hired. And I think we hit home runs across the board. These guys are working tirelessly. I need to thank their wives and their families for the commitment that they've made to Oregon and how hard they've been working. Certainly grateful for our players and their understanding, as it's been kind of a transition, crazy transition for them as well. But we got some good people coming in here. We were able to get the best of the best, and I'm thrilled about it.
You went out to the men's basketball game over Oregon State. I'm happy to report that you're 1-0 as a fan in Matthew Knight Arena.
I mean, I need to get more invites.
So keep it coming. I mean, you're welcome, I think, any time at this rate. Coaches, what was that like for you getting up there at halftime, talking to the crowd? That had to be a cool experience.
Man, our fans are awesome. Our fans are awesome. That was my first experience getting to see Shout, first, and I loved it. I asked our staff yesterday, okay, I want to make sure I'm doing this right. Am I clapping at the right time? Are my hands going up?
Well done.
And then I was a little disappointed. I didn't realize I was supposed to be laying on the ground when it got a little bit quiet.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So I'm going to get all that better. I'm going to keep improving. I'm not satisfied, but talk about passionate fans. I mean, Coach Altman, they killed it. That was awesome, especially against those guys over there.
That's right.
That's a fun team to beat. So it was a blast.
So you also broke some news for us during your speech. April 23rd, 1 p.m. will be the spring game.
Let's go.
Tell fans about the schedule ahead. What's your spring football schedule? What can they expect?
Yeah, right now we're entering kind of a wintering condition period where we're getting to work with our guys with some team runs, some heavy lifting there in the weight room, and then really, some get real sessions where we're kind of hopping into the mind and deep dive into, a personal connection piece, and then we'll work our way into spring ball, get into spring installs and walkthroughs and crank it up. But the 23rd, for sure, we want to see Autzen. I want to hear about this stadium sound that I've been hearing about.
Well, and you're on the defensive side, coming from that side in your coaching realm,
That's right.
That's what Coach Adams was just saying. Like, it's your defense that's going to be dealing with the loudness. That's what you like, right? That's what you want to see.
Make that thing loud. Yeah. Make that thing loud. We love it. It's going to be an advantage for us in this conference. We want people to not want to come play here.
It's a busy day for you, so I got to say thanks for taking the time. I said that I'd keep you 10 minutes. We've kept you a little longer than that, so I want to close with just, Coach, what do you want to say to the fans? What did we miss today? What do you want fans to know as you are harking in a new era of Oregon football?
Yeah, I just want our fans to realize how excited but also how honored our staff is to get to wear that hat, to get to wear the O, be associated with this program. And I'm thrilled about the direction we're headed. I've said it a few times that every piece matters. 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 is going to be the difference for us, and our fans are a big part of that. So let's keep the movement. Let's keep it rolling, and we're looking to build off the success that's already existed here at Oregon and for the future.
I love it. Coach, thank you for being here.
Go Ducks.
Really appreciate it.
Always great to hear from the head coach of Oregon football, Dan Lanning. He has his staff working tirelessly into the wee hours of the morning, putting together what will be an outstanding product on the field. And what a day it was yesterday, National Signing Day. A couple recruits falling the Ducks' way. How could they not? It's a great program to be a part of. All right, Hoodoo Ski Arena's preseason pass sale is going on now. The family fun destination since 1938, Central Oregon's original ski area. Hoodoo, big slopes, rounded buttes, and wide open terrain. Dig into deep savings and get your season pass now at hoodoo.com. We're wrapping up after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Money isn't interested in the fact that you dream of going to Greece. And it doesn't pace at night wondering how you'll pay for braces 3 times. The point is, money without people is just money. Only people can use it to run the family ranch, buy their first house, or adopt a happy old dog. To us, the powerful thing about money isn't money at all. It's helping you harness the power of yours. On Point. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Neil Armstrong waited 6 hours and 39 minutes to step onto the surface of the moon. Jackie Robinson waited 20 months to play his first game with the Brooklyn Dodgers. And even DiCaprio had to wait 22 years to win an Oscar. You can wait until your destination. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking. Now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Back here on Duck Insider, Jordan Brenner in for Joey Mack. We're in the Country Financial Studios. It's brought to you by On Point Community Credit Union, and we're just wrapping up here on Duck Insider, and we are going to start off by talking about Oregon men's golf, which got its spring season going today. It's a 3-day tournament. The Ducks are currently +4. Nate Stember is doing a really good job for the Ducks. 3 under par today through 13 holes. Let's see if he can come through down the finish and maybe even get to 4 or 5 under par. That would be fantastic. But the Ducks spring season getting going today in Hawaii, and I'm only 5 or 10% jealous of the Ducks men's basketball or men's golf team. Also wanted to mention Oregon first baseman Jacob Walsh was named by Baseball America today the Freshman of the Year preseason for the Pac-12. I got over to practice yesterday. I got to see Jacob Walsh, and I couldn't believe he was 18 years old. This guy is huge for Oregon baseball. I mean, he's hitting bombs in 30-degree rain yesterday over there in batting practice at PK Park. I can't wait to see him start his Duck career coming up here in a couple weeks against San Diego. Also, this will be on the show tomorrow quite a bit. We're going to talk a lot of Oregon women's basketball as they enter into Tucson for a top 20 tilt with number 8 Arizona. And the Ducks are looking for the season sweep over the Wildcats. Wanted to give some shine to Maddie Scher because, especially over Oregon's 8-game winning streak, that does include the UCLA forfeit, by the way, Maddie Scher has been a very valuable cog and piece in the puzzle, right next to Rogers, Pau, and Sabley, of course, but one of 3 Pac-12 players this season averaging 3.5 rebounds and assists and 1.5 steals per game. Really doing a great job in her role. And Oregon women's basketball tomorrow night in Tucson, another big game for the streaking Ducks. We're also tomorrow going to be wrapping up what will hopefully be a men's basketball win in Colorado, 7 p.m. tonight, 6:30 pregame with Joey Mack. Can't say that enough. We're looking forward to a potential curse busting.
Come on, Ducks.
We're hoping for it.
Up in those mountains.
0-10 all time in Boulder. We're going to have to wait and see about the injury report tonight, too, for Colorado. 2 of their 5 starters missed their last game against Washington State up in Pullman. They didn't play very well.
We'll just have to see if the altitude affects Joey Mack.
You and I will be particularly perceptive to that, and we'll have to mention that to him. We're also going to get to a Melyssa Lombardi press conference tomorrow. She's talking to the media here pretty soon today. All right, that's going to do it for Duck Insider. I've been Jordan Brenner. Thanks to everybody who made this possible, and for listening to the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s, like go back to college, learn to skateboard. Whoa. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. At aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a free 3-minute chat with the friendly digital retirement coach, Avo, and receive personalized tips to help boost your savings. Start chatting with Avo today at aceyourretirement.org.